All right, welcome to the stream, everybody. Hefe here. Just decided to do some streaming today. I'm going to be working on a new calf mounted, whatever you want to call it, combo. And, you know, been using Hannibal forever. I think actually since it's released. And so finally found a combo I think is worthy of updating and upgrading. Using the ruins, I've now gotten my siege combo back up, as well as you know, gotten all my other attack gens combos up. Got some duty gens that I've wanted to use my rune stones on, so been hoarding now for a little bit. So I'm gonna actually use some of my rune stones now on this new set. So I don't think I'll be able to max both of them, but might be close depending on how many lucky stones I've got. But I first wanted to just do some quick tests. Testing out my current combo. Sure, I'll just buff. Might as well buff, do my basics. Just to get an idea what the before and after looks like. Now, keeping in mind, I also haven't maxed out Maximus that I'm using with Hannibal as my assistant general. Again, didn't want to use the rune stones until I needed to. What am I doing here? All right. Close enough. I'm going to use Ziz for now. I'm actually going to switch over to using Nidhogg going forward based on the stats I'm looking at right now for what I've seen so far. Now that I've gotten Ziz up to level 10 and done some comparisons there, I actually think Nidhogg's a better choice long-term for calves. And I'll go over that a little bit as well, my rationale on that. Always a debate. Let's just take a look at these gens. So fully spec'd, 1-starred Hannibal. And as I said, I don't have the full spec on Maximilian. I keep calling him Maximus, but Maximilian. Because I didn't want to use the rune stones. But I'm going to go ahead and do some testing here, and I'm going to save this keep. So just a quick solo. Check out the buffs differences between rally versus solo. Obviously there's differences when you consider MA5 research and other research that you've got in there. But just give yourself an idea what you're doing for solos versus PvP. So it looks like I am... This was the first one, I think. Yeah, Hannibal, Maximilian. 2034. Make some notes. All right, let's check out the rally. So this one was again with Hannibal and Ziz. 2155. So you can see pretty big jump there. Using the Military Academy research. And what I'm referring to is there's a lot of those doubled up stats that you know, add when in rallies versus not. Solo, you're gonna get your subs, but you know, I can see, what am I? 66, 110, looks like 121 plus attack on my when I'm in a rally, as well as, you know, over 130 some defense in a rally, as well as the what would that be, 100 and, yeah, it's a lot, 100 plus when you're inside of your rallies. So that's good to see. Alright, so now I've got that. So what I'm gonna do is I am looking to update a couple of generals. Having done my math, I've got a bunch of spreadsheets I use to actually compare and contrast all these fully ascended, fully spec gens with different assistants. And I know there's a lot of spreadsheets out there. I typically don't, I'll look at them for reference. I'll typically look at other people, what they're using, and try to figure out if that's going to work for me. But I'm gonna use Zhao Yun as my main. This general is pretty new. I know a lot of people are using it as assistants. I'm planning to use it as my main, with Custer as my secondary general. And I'm going to go through that. There's an awful lot of advantages here. I'd say the only general that has more HP combo with Zhao as an assistant, Roland with Zhao as an assistant. One of my good buddies, Duke Chris, he uses that as a combo, and he's always done really well on his calves. That HP maxed out for that combo, fully ascended, is about 130. And I'm looking at percentage adds based on all the stats, based on the ascensions, as well as the books and different things that fit and work on those generals. So it's about 130 plus add on HP. And this combo Zhao Custer is about 120, so 10 less HP. And I think people undersell how important HP is for calves. It's a key stat as you're doing a lot of PvP. You'll notice that as you go up against some of the big dogs. But notably, the percentage on attack with this combo adds about 270 fully ascended. Now, keep it in mind, I'm not going to get that out of the gate. And this gen combo actually might not be as good day one because of the number of runestones I've got. We're going to see how many I've got here to see if I can get Custer up there as well. I know I can max Zhao. I don't think I can max Custer as well for my specs. And then also March size increases, another huge one. Fully spec'd, fully comboed out for this Zhao Custer is 38% to March size. So that's a huge bonus, being able to send more calves. And not only are you doing that in PvP, joining those rallies, you're filling bigger rallies. You're helping your team out, helping your points out. It also has a rally size increase, as I'm a rally setter, of 8%. So not bad. Not a bad combo. Not perfect. Obviously, there's better combos for rally size increases. But, I'm joining as many rallies as I am setting. So just the way we do things. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one works live. I already did add the skill books for this one and just got done leveling these up on a sub. So I'm going to quickly cultivate this general. Yeah, I usually just go through and do all increases. I there's maybe better ways to do this. I don't know. People have lots of voodoo on how they do things and why do they do things. Get a little lag there. I don't like how slow this is going. So yeah, I like to just try to max these out until it stops giving me any bonuses. And then I'll focus on attack and defense and leadership, trying to get those, all of them a little above 500 if I can, but I got a few extra gems to spend here on this, so I might do that. Yeah, I've seen a number of people using this combo and was just curious. Hadn't really looked at it. Generally, I'd thought of Zhao as a secondary or an assistant gen. Hadn't really done the math on it. Again, it just comes down to what you've got. If you don't have rune stones, you don't have the fourth set of rune stones to be able to spend on these things. I just have a hard time looking at them all, and I just think as a priority, based on the way we play, and the way I play generally, I'm already getting 0 wounded on a few Yimmer 5s and close to 0 wounded on boss 17s. So I don't really have a huge value in my Cav gen. Obviously, it's huge for PvP. I get that, but mine was, pretty good. I had a good combo going. So as you saw, my buffs there aren't bad. So yeah, a little bit boring, but if you do have questions and you're happen to be on chat, I'm happy to try to answer those. As obviously I can watch this a little bit better. Yeah, Mordred is an assistant. The last style bender had a question there on chat. I have done some looks at Mordred. I've got Mordred here and I'll show you what that looks like. But fully ascended, spec'd out, I think that, I know that this combo is better. So that was why. Reaper's checking in. Yeah, I just figured I'd jump on here and do a little bit of prep for SVS, and my buddy Duke told me about the fact that I could get Custer. I'd sold off all my Custer fragments for gold at one point. Was desperate, so I sold generals to get some more gold, and regretted that now over the last week or so, wondering how I was going to go about getting Custer until someone told me that I could purchase it via the VIP package. Custer was available, so I went ahead and gave myself an early birthday present. Reaper, we're all striving to get like you. I don't know why you think you want to be like me. Your life would be, desperately sitting on a streaming in monotonous tasks. Ooh, look at that, 610 or 510 for that leadership is pretty good. But as you can see, my attack and defense aren't up there yet, so I'm just going to keep on clicking. I'll get a couple of limits here, but I may or may not recommend doing it this way, depending on the number of gems you've got. But you can see so now I'll start to get that too much. So what I'm going to do here is I want to get those stats. I'll do singles here. I'm going to save my precious gold. You can see that yellow defense. What you want to do is get to about, I think it's 498 or 499. I can't remember, but 498, I think, for all three of those stats. And then I'm going to try to roll some specific stats to get them close. So it's 498. So here's what we got to do. We got to get that a little bit lower. I'm going to take that one. I'm not going to take that one. I'll take that one. Okay, let's get both those there. No, this will be curious, I think. Let's see what this does. Yeah, I think anytime I've got that attack one in there. That's pretty good. Put that -4. Let's try something different here. That one looks pretty good. Let's try that. I'll take that. Good enough. So you can see some of these stats, the reasoning behind getting those stats the way they are, leadership, attack, defense being the priorities for your PvP, politics, sub-generals, resource gathering, things like your Jindiaks or your other gathering generals, you'd want to do that. Troop death to woundage, certainly. I mean, you're doing on-server PvP, SVS type stuff. Well, death to wounded, I don't know. It doesn't really matter as much in SVS, but yeah, so those stats being the important thing: march speed, troop HP, and troop attack and defense. Those are your base stats that are going to be applied to your generals, to your troops as you're attacking and such. So yeah, I think that's pretty good setup there. Let's go ahead and look. I think I can ascend Zal a little bit here. Had some extra Zaos, and Zao's a pretty easy one to get right now. Offered up on a number of the different purchasing things that you might run across. Should be able to get this to 2 stars. Yeah, Christoph, I'll spend the time to get those numbers a little bit higher. He's talking about getting cultivates, using the 1x gold and get those random ones. It certainly is an option. I could spend more time doing that. I'm not going to perfect it right now, but I was able to get it pretty high with using the three at once. So they're all over 500 for now. I'm going to leave it as it is. I won't bore you with all that clicking. All right, 2-starred. That's a good start. Now let's go down. So you can see I have got, and we'll check out Mordred. Somebody was asking about that, so I'll look at that. I've looked at all of these gens. Here's my Custer. So Ascending Generals, you don't need to do anything other than spec them, right? So nothing you need to do here. I also want to put the skill books on. I'll go through that a little bit here. Obviously, it's fairly obvious to all you pros out there, but for some of the people that are newer to this, I'll give you a couple tips here on your skill book, applying skill books. Like I said, all you whale veterans, I wouldn't worry too much about this part of the video, but so what I'm looking to add here, doing the research I did, I'm going to add mounted defense, I'm going to add mounted monster attack, and then march speed. Just based on the fact that I was able to get mounted attack, mounted HP, and march size on the Zao. These are just the other options I'm going to use. I'm not using cav speed. That would be another option, and certainly up to you, but anything I can do to add to the buffs. So just a little tip here. What you'll see, I've got a lot of skill book ones, and as you're applying skill books, you want to go to your lowest level skill books and start to apply those to get them to seed onto the general before you start using your higher level ones, because typically you'll have less higher level skill books than you do these lower levels. So right now I've got 299 ground troop defense level 1s. That's one of the ones I want to put on. And then I'm going to look at the monster ground books that I've got for attack. So mounted monster, skill attack. I only got 5 of those. And so I want to start with the ones that I've got the highest amount of. So march speed, I got 275. So basically mounted defense, march speed, and then I want to try to get the mounted attack book, given I've only got 5 of those. We just, because they override each other until you can get them seated on there to put the high level ones. So I'm going to start with the mounted defense. If I can find it. Oh, mounted defense 288 or 287. Must have been looking at the ground. Yeah. 287. So that one goes on perfectly, no problem. March speed, I have 275, so I'm going to try that one. So that's a good start. Very rare that'll happen. You'll probably go back and forth on that one a while before you get 2 of them. And now let's see if I can get this mounted attack for monsters on here. Look, what a terrible video. I should buy a lottery ticket today. Yeah, that never works that way. Of course, the one time I want to show you. So basically the idea there would be I'm using up those ones that I have more skill books of. So as they override each other, I've still got more chances to get those skills on there. But today, of course, when I'm trying to show you, on a video, it does not work out. Oh well. All right, so there, I've got those seated. So you can see there, as you get those initial level 1s on, then you move up to your level 4s or whatever higher ones you've got. If you've only got level 3s, and yes, I'm too lazy to create these 2s and 3s into 4s, but you can do that as well to get some more higher level ones. So that is all done. Besides the skill book or specialties, that general's all done. So let's go ahead and work on specialties for Zao. So you can see here I've got 350k of these rune stones. So yeah, we're just gonna pound these on right now. You can do them all at once. which is a nice feature they added and doesn't make us click. Level 2. As you can see, I'm a hoarder. Everybody makes the mistake of early on in their gaming to start adding, runestones to the wrong generals, or you've got half things done across 4 or 5 generals and none of them are completed. You really want to take your time creating your generals and not be using those resources that you think you have extra of until you're sure you're ready to start using them. Like I said, I've been using this same Cav mounted combo for years, and I'm finally actually going back to change it. It worked fine for me. I do pretty well. So what I would tell you is that, yeah, they all have a little bit of variance, a little bit of differences, but at the end of the day, they don't matter all that much. Yes, I get it. Everybody's yelling at me, I'm sure, right now about how there's these amazing combos and how great so-and-so is with his calves and da-da-da-da-da. But what I'm telling you is when you get right down to it. So I'm going to use my lucky stones here at the end. I typically use, so you can see I've got only 1,600 or 16K of these left, which, as you can see, won't allow me to fully do my Custer. But what I can do is use these 444 lucky stones to try to get, spread the wealth here on these. And I use 60%. Some people, you might risk it and use only 50%, or lower. I don't know what everybody does, but this has been working for me, so this is what I do. I got a ×2 there. Didn't get one there, didn't get one there. And these lucky stones are just, adding up over battlefields. I don't use them for anything other than the final spec. So these lucky stones are actually applying double the EXP. So as I'm adding these rune stones, it's actually doubling up. And you see I'm probably about 60% on how often that double is firing. It seems about right to me. So if it keeps firing the way it is, I'll be pretty close to be able to do the other one, but it just might take... Yeah, I'm gonna need to get a few more, but that's okay. They'll show up eventually. As you saw, I wasn't doing anything. Special on my Maximilian. He was only did 2 of his specs done based on those specs. I picked those 2 and wasn't worried about the 4th spec. But that said, I am gonna go ahead and do Custer's specs. At least the first 3. Yeah, these are not cheap. I'm glossing over the fact that I started off, I think, today with like 1-point-something million gems. Again, hoarding these things and using them when I need them. And despite the fact that you might have a lot of things, eventually you'll realize they go quickly as you start moving up the ladder. Like I said, need to open some gems. Yeah, I got a few things in my inventory here. Let's use these 500s. Again, you see my hoarding tendencies there. Frugal. I think that's what I would say. I'm frugal. Some would say cheap. All right. Oops.
Waste another day. Eyes on my display. You say we need a change, and I feel that you mean it.
All right. So this third skill, yeah, mounted attack. I'm gonna get as much as I can here. So seeing as I've only got 3 lucky stones left, let's see how far we can get.
So can we just slow down?
Yep. So you don't have enough. So it requires 8 million. I've got 6.8k, which roughly translates. Now with lucky stones, you can usually do that a little cheaper, but I think it's 12.5 if you do the math on how many you need overall, and that's without lucky stones, I think. But don't quote me on that. I haven't looked at that in a while. So I'm going to leave those for now until I get enough. Build up those lucky stones. Yeah, good enough. And I think I've got... Let's go look. Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at this. I said I would look at Mordred for you. I'll show you that.
We were on the run, rocking around the clock. Now all we need is right here in front of us. In front of us. So can we just slow down?
There's Custer. Where'd you go? Yeah, his main skill does work. I believe it may be the specs on Mordred comparatively. That I can look at as well, but yeah, that general does work. So again, depending on who you've got, just from what I did and what I think is more important, I'm going to be going with Custer for mine. HP and the march size were the bigger factors for me, and I believe also attack. Everything's actually higher on the combo that I'm looking at. So correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. Broadcast 1010. No, I have not seen the new building, PvP building. Have you seen the new PvP buildings on server 1013 to promote KE? No, I've not seen that. Don't know what that is. Where'd you go, Custer?
I won't admit that I miss you, that nothing makes me feel like you used to. No one kills me the way you do.
So, let me just look at one thing for you here. So you see, oh, that main skill didn't work. What did I do wrong? Oops. Oh yeah, I forgot you can't have march size on the gen. That was a different setup than I had before. Oh, that was why I didn't switch this. I knew that wasn't going to work, but I need to switch. And that's where those specs come in, and you'll see cav speed on here.
And it hurts more than leaving. Only having you in my dreams and
HP.
that with you I'd always lose.
All right. So you saw there, it just took me a couple to get those updated. And if you got questions, then you can post them in the comments. I can try to help you with your skill books. All right. Yep. So you can see on Custer, he's got the increased march size 10%, as well as I think it's 10% right here. Yeah, 10% on the second skill as well. Just a really good combo here. You know, sometimes you won't get very much on this second one, or things that won't apply. Or on this third one, you'll get all troop, which doesn't really matter when you're specifically using it for a certain troop type. So I prefer to get these 10-10-10s, and if you do the math on them, they come out higher. So, and there are, you know, obviously generals assistants that have higher attack bonuses, but together with that HP and the march size, I really think that this combo outpaces those ones with more attack. Yeah, so. And you can see here, given that this secondary skill, the reason that this one works, some people may or may not understand this, and it's not always 100% true, but the wording does matter on how they write up where the skills show up. You can see that this skill here, increasing ground troop and mounted troop attack by 30%, increasing mounted troop HP by 30%. So order matters. Had that been HP, I wouldn't have been able to put the HP book on, for example. Had that been first on the list. So it's just how they've done it. And I know there's exceptions to that. There's even typos that have created that error in the past that they've gone back and fixed. But for now, I think that this is the best combo that I can do. So I'll be using this combo for, you know, big boss hitting as well. Again, these skill books, you can opt to change them to whatever you'd like. You might put march speed to monsters on here. You might put luck. I don't know. Just depends on how you're using your generals. But for me, generally, I'll be using Custer for just for PvP. I don't worry too much about it for bosses, but I have other combos I use. So yeah, once this one is fully spec'd Custer, I think that might be, yeah. Must have saved this. So I think right now that's a little bit smaller, but I'm going to go with it. Yeah, broadcast, if you could Discord me, I will check it out. And you can find me on Discord. I am... Yeah, I'm just Hefe out on Discord. Or you can send me a request. All right, where was it? Suppose I should switch out the gear, huh? That might be helpful. No gear, obviously, on the Assistant General. So another thing that I haven't looked at in a very long time is the gear I'm currently using. I know there's some other pieces out that may be better options. I even didn't look at some of the Han set, I think it was, that I was looking at. Just gotta get that dragon on there. Yeah. I don't think my dragon's ready. I will be using Nighthog for in 5 minutes. I can add Nighthog on. I did some analysis. I was looking at the fully spec'd Nighthog versus the fully spec'd or fully leveled Ziz. And the difference between the two dragons, I've heard people say that they think that Ziz is better. You know, from a stat point of view. So if you just look at, I think I can show you this. Actually, I can't now, but you can do the math. So this mounted attack at 35%. Let's just look at the base skills. You can see this one is marching mounted attack, and that'll be, you know, at 25% or 35%. So that'll be equal at the same level of dragon. But if you look inside the talent, so this is talent 1. The difference here in talent 1 is the defense. So you both will have 25%. You can see mounted troop attack, exactly the same. But the difference here is the HP, 25% troop HP and troop defense. Now, I'm not saying defense isn't important. I just happen to think that HP is more important. For the things that I'm doing. And so for that reason alone, I am going to be using Nighthog for my main gen. Now, people will tell you that, yes, but, you know, the skill difference is, there's a different skill. The equivalent of the skill. So you can see leadership is 105 here at level 10, going to go up to 115. So it's going to go up plus 10. Now, I assume that just continues to grow at the same level. Haven't looked at that closely yet, and I may change my mind. I'm going to level both of them. Oh, sorry. But you can see at level 12, this one's only 100, and it'll only go up to 110 when it gets to 13. So it is going up 10 per, so what will that be? 13 it'll be 10, so another 20. So it'll be 130 when it's done, leadership. And you can see that the general attack, I believe, will be very similar. But again, that leadership that I'm getting on the base skill, as well as the base stats that are for attack and defense being the same, I just think that Nighthog's a better choice. I don't know. I'm going to go with it for now and get them both leveled up anyway, and use the other one for raining or for doing bosses or whatever, but I'll look at that as we go. But for now, I'm going to continue using Nighthog, not for the fact that my Nighthog is level 12, this is only 10 right now, but also you'll note I use a couple of mounted HP refines on my dragon. I only put one. Again, this was based on what I'd gotten when I was rolling them, so I just kept the 3 attacks and 1 HP. But eventually, if this is used as a boss gen, maybe that works out better. I don't know. We'll see. I'll change those as I need to. But anyway, that's going to be my setup for calves. So. Let's check this out. What is this? I'm pretty sure I can show you this.
Without you here, can't sleep, can't breathe. I need you here, right next to me. Thoughts in my head, racing. We can't go on like this anymore. I'm done with the games we're playing. I'm over it.
I don't know. That's going to be pretty small for you guys to read. Looks like there's a war event. This is the thing that there we go. I'll have to work it. So broadcast 1010 on the channel was just sharing some information that I think this is actually pretty interesting. During the event, there'll be 3 ancient buildings on the map, which was Spartan Warrior Camp, Gladiator School. What's that? Proper city. During the first 5 days of the event, ancient buildings cannot be attacked. The lines R4 and 5 need to build temporary flags. Interesting. So 3 new buildings they're testing out on server 1013. Might want to scroll over to 1013 and see if we can find them. I don't know. That's going on right now, March 3rd to March 10th. So it'd be interesting from anybody from 1013 if they're on here to respond what's going on with that. Looks like it's just a competition on the server. Interesting to see if that actually plays a role in SVS or if they're even in SVS. HJ was asking if I've seen the Derek Define video. I don't know who Derek Define is and how speed books don't work or do anything. I've had various, we've cracked the theories on speed books versus not speed books. I know range certainly has been, changed and tested, and we've done a lot of things with range books as well as speed books to try to test things. Some of the things are very hard to test. If you're joining a rally, do the speed books work? And looking at the reports, in some cases they do, in some cases they don't. Some of it depends on who you're attacking, and so getting a really good test base to be able to test that. I've seen people test it with T1s and doing all sorts of goofy things like that, but I don't think that that's really representative of how some of that stuff works. But no, I would say that I have not seen his videos, and it's one of those that I think most people would tell you they just put them on when they don't have any other options. They just hope it works. Because I don't know that anybody really knows at the end of the day. But might have to check out that guy's videos just to see if it makes sense. I'm always skeptical until I test it myself. People will tell you. By all means, I am not the authoritarian on all things Evany, but been around for a while, so I know a few things. Some of it's just old habits. But I fully admit it. I definitely don't know everything. So let's see if we can stick the old Nidhogg on there. And yes, I have gotten more and more comments about how lazy I am about leveling my dragons. I agree. It's very lazy and unfortunate that I'm doing it that way. Where are you? Is it Zhao? I have to get used to saying Zhao. And there he goes. Alright. Not bad. That's going to be it for today on Zhao, I think. I did want to move around a few things I had sitting on other gens for raining. Actually, I think I'm going to change these. So I wanted to switch my Norway Ridge. I'm putting it back on a sub for now for SVS. And I'm going to put Unbothered leveling my Godzilla. Okay.
I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit.
I also had a couple of
I thought I saw you at the bus stop, I didn't though.
yeah, I got some random pieces I do here.
I hit the ground running each night. I hit the Sunday matinee.
I should probably
Films of all time were never made. I guess you never know, never know. And if you wanted me, you really should have shown. And if you
Thanks,
never
Mike.
leave, you
I'm gonna
never
check it out.
grow. And it's all right now. I guess you never know, never know.
1013.
Another day of waking up alone. And if you never leave, you
Jeez, so many servers. Unbelievable to think I started on server 27. Now they have. Jeez. I'm convinced that like half of these servers, the reason they get merged, it's somebody's creating a bunch of bots one day, and so they have like 50 alts, level 1 alts that are sitting on some other server that they're not using. And then those servers end up getting merged or something. I have no idea.
You meet some woman on the
There we go.
internet and take her home. We never painted by the numbers, baby, but we were making them count. You know the greatest love of all time are over now.
520, 520.
But we were something, don't you think so? Roaring 20s, tossing pennies in the pool.
Spartan Warrior Camp. Let's check this out. Can I not? Can I check it out? Won't let me touch.
I guess you never know, never know.
Can I teleport? I think they'll let me come visit. Darn it. Been playing longer than 3 days. Won't let me get into it. I'm assuming the other ones maybe are over here. Let's go off the corner. I'd like to hit that 4 if I could. said there's 3 of them.
It would have been you.
Oh, am I going the right direction? Yeah.
Never know. And it's another day of waking up alone. And if you never bleed, you're never gonna grow. And it's alright now. We never painted by the numbers, baby, but we were making them count. You know the greatest
It's interesting.
time are over now.
Spartan Warrior Camp. Well, there's another thing that's not consistent across servers. You'd think these things could be tested on the beta, but they probably don't have enough players there to put a legit test together. I know I have a beta account, but never go there. It just, there's not much to do there. And I'm not sure it's a really good place to test, given the way they don't have everything, and they don't have nearly the... It's just such a different environment, in my opinion, from what little I've spent there. I'm sure somebody will disagree, but you can test certain individual things, but I'm telling you, it's different enough where it's not representative. So I can see why they might do some of these pre-release. I've seen them do that before, where they'll release some buildings, release certain things. Might keep looking. No, I'm just kidding. I was thinking that maybe they would be on each of the corners, but maybe that's just random that it looked like that was right where... There we go. There it is. Interesting. Spartan Warrior Camp. Leveling up dragons. DJ or JH is wondering, or sorry, HJ is wondering. I got a guy in Water Alliance named JH. HJ is wondering if there's a special way to level up dragons. No, not really. Feeding, basically feeding. And the quickest way is, you know, some of your best materials, which are also used for, you know, gear and other things. But it's difficult. It takes time, it takes a lot of materials. I think the materials are the best thing to do. And I can show you a little bit of what I do. Again, this is all going to depend on the gems, and I think I already did my... Yeah, I did. Trying to get my Kochian finally up to level 15 before those that just got them. Theirs up to 15. Yeah, let's look at this one. So you can see that these... Yeah, there really isn't really a secret. The higher you get them, the more you see that EXP 699, 840. So that's for 20 of 20. It's obviously a lot of materials, but it also gives you a big jump. So depending on the gems you've got, depending on the materials you've got, it just, you know, the more materials, the better. So what a lot of people will do is, like for instance here, they won't waste a feed on, you know, 116k points. They would rather wait and use the gems to refresh the recipe. So you can do it up to 10 times, as you see here, refreshing up to 10 times, and then you got to feed a total of 30. So like for here, if I want to maximize, I'll usually take, you know, these 10s or a 30. So if I really want to try to push and get the most out of each level, I'll take these 10s, this 30, and then I won't even take this 10. So this smaller amount, I'm out of coins, but those are bad. I'll use those. Like here, I'll probably skip that 5 if I want to maximize things. 5s and 15s are the same. So on this one, I'll use these because I've got a lot of them. I don't use resources because they're always really low. I don't use metals, and I don't use revived stones. So I'll just refresh that. And so here I'll use these. I'll always use my badges, at least for the high level ones. I'm going to skip the 5, use the 20. Again, these are all things people do it differently. This is just how I do it. And then as I get up in the refreshes, if I get over 5 or 6 and I'm starting to not use the 30, I'll start to be a little less selective. So it's really about maximizing these 30 chances per feed, or per day. That's really the quickest way to get it up, is to... Yeah, we're talking about feeding dragons, nothing else here, guys. Let's not get excited. Quickest way to level it up is to use those things that give you higher returns per feed. And like, I could go out and try to get this meteorite, and I've got those materials, but I'm not going to bother right now. So you can clearly see those higher level ones are gonna get it level up faster, so that's really the fast way. Yeah, HJ, I think is he the guy that's sitting on the toilet that Derek defined? In some videos he was doing some like Excel things and showing with T1 troops and testing all that. I think I know who that is now. I don't I think that he makes a lot of assumptions on his explanations, and I don't think that he actually knows some of the things he's professing to know as facts. Yes, he was doing a lot of math, doing a lot of things that I'm sure the math was right, but I'm just not sure his tests and results were proving out the actual conclusions he came to. But I'll go back and give him another chance, take a look at it again, just to see maybe he's doing something different. But it was more on the setup that he was using for some of those tests. I wasn't agreeing with his interpretation, especially when he was doing a lot of compares on T1s that I don't think hold true as you get up in different levels. It doesn't things don't scale quite as cleanly as he likes to make them seem in his results. Certainly don't, and I would just point to one example, and that would be range on Siege. Obviously T1 Siege used to work differently and wasn't this way, but now the T1 Siege and say T15 or 13s or upper layer Siege act differently based on the range. So I don't know. Some of those things we just can't be sure why the results are what they are. But yes, he does understand layers, and everyone should use layers. Magic behind how many layers, number of T1s, we've all broken those rules. I think most of you know my thoughts on T1 traps, but they're fun to rally. I like to zero them. So let's just take a look. I didn't I guess I don't have to march buff, but I will. So I'm going to fix my... Now realizing that I used this before, so the stats are going to be a little different, but I wanted to test it anyway. So I'm going to test that again. Not today, but at some point. And just give myself a baseline on yeah, and this solo's less. I can already see it's based on the refines and other things on the dragon. As well as the final spec on Custer's not done, so once that's up, that'll be right where it needs to be.
You say I make you nervous, a tragedy.
And that 1337 compared to 1290 before is also, you know, tied up in some of those dragons. Be interested to see what that is once I move that over. But all of this is what I need to study a little bit to make sure I'm making the right choices. But on paper, I felt like this was a better choice. And again, the HP being a key stat on both these are better on this combo, but again, I think that's partially due to the dragon that I have on. Ziz has one less HP, but I'll publish this info as I get a apples to apples compare, because this certainly isn't right now.
I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread with the angels. Fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close.
There's nothing, HJ was just saying he's a 2.3 billion K37 with 100 million T1 ponies. Yep, I understand why people do it, and it's a good defense. Depends on your server, depends on your alliance and how you guys play and how you play as an individual. Some people want to trap. That's great. I mean, it does work. I can't tell you how many times I've face palmed after I've smashed into a T1 trap knowing that I should have scouted. Got all excited for those easy points. We all do that, but I just think it's such a limited game. You know, you certainly will get 2-3 people to splat on you during SVS, but eventually those alliances know who you are, and then they may target you for some traps yourselves and get you zeroed with a rally. But you as a smart player will probably not get rallied. But I just I'd rather see people hoarding those resources until they can, you know, build even bigger and fatter instead of building layers that long term, I don't think are as effective and as useful as they are when trying to eat solos, which for me is not my game. So I know people have made their entire careers in Ebony playing as traps, and they have a lot of fun doing it, and more power to them. Hats off to them. I prefer the rallies, and I'd prefer you use that food and was it food and lumber for all those ponies, or maybe it's food. Yes, and that is exactly why you do it. I get why people do it. The 100 million T1 ponies for surviving the solos. I get it. It's a good defense. It's more of a short-term defense though, because I mean, I'm sure you've gotten into, or maybe you haven't, but if you've watched any of our streams in battlefields, we've been pretty good about, I don't know, sometimes we'll just slam into them and then, oh yeah, that's a T1 trap, we got to rally it. So eventually we'll rally them and zero them. So even for, they're annoying for portal holders and other things initially, but they just, those ponies don't really help them when we rally them. No, I get why people do it. It's not a bad strategy. It's just, I'd rather see you use the resources on growing your keep, growing your military academy, but if it allows you to play in SVS and have more fun, I'd say go for it. All right. You can't park today. I usually play SVS as Mushroom Keep anyway. Just like to troll. My favorite keep. You know it's SVS when I'm rolling the mushroom. What server are you on? HJ. I got 45 minutes to bubble a couple of my bubbies. Oh, Booby Land. We're up against Booby Land. Server 118, 191 combo. Looks like they got... I know a few of these names. Viper Force, I was on All-Stars, this last All-Stars 9 with him, I think on my first round. He was on our team. Kuma, I know that name. Yeah, Viper Force and Kuma. Alright. So they got one big alliance. Royce, I remember him from 8. I know this name, I think I remember this guy from a long time ago. All right. So you're on 1010. Oh, well, for 1010, 2.3 billion. That's a big K37. That's a big keep. And I guess I don't know for sure, but I know there's still coiners that show up on those servers and go ham and are already 20 billion. But yeah, you're certainly at a big size for that new of a server. And I don't know what your matchups are for SVS, but I'm sure those T1s will actually work well for you for a while then. I like to say I hate them, but it's only because I don't like splatting on them. And I get my goat. Alright, here's what I do for SVS. You want another magic? Nothing special. I always go start at... let's go 10 there. Look for these outliers. I'll just bookmark some of the top 10 alliances and do a patrol around those a little bit. This guy's decided not to sit in a hive. We tend to, I don't know, I try not to move too much during SVS because sometimes the enemies don't move as much when I'm porting around, so I just kind of hang out and watch a lot. I end up finding a lot of just bubble drops and standard stuff that everybody else does, so. We've got a lot of snipers on our team that are smaller keeps relative to me that, well, relative to anyone really, they're smaller keeps, and they find a ton of bubble drops and end up getting a lot of points. They usually outscore me because they're that active. People might say I'm a little lazy. I call it selective. Huh. There we go.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left.
All right, I am going to have to shut this down. Real life calling. So I appreciate everybody tuning in for that super exciting mounted general setup that I'm going to roll with. I'll try to update you guys on how that looks with the other dragons, and as I get the specs on it, and get the final setup done. How it pans out and how it's working in some of the hits I'm going to be doing coming up in battlefields, and hopefully maybe we'll get some SVS hits. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Aptoid if you haven't. I know I've gotten a lot of feedback recently. In fact, I did get a letter back from Aptoid. We had a mail going out internally that's saying something about just being able to use Apple or Google Play to do your purchasing in game. That's obviously not true. Aptoid is a legal partner. Ended up getting a letter from Top Games to our rep over at Aptoid, and he shared that with me. So I had some people nervous about, oh boy, is this really legal that I can use this and save all this money on buying my packs? And it certainly is 100% legal. So don't be afraid to download the wallet and start using Aptoid and get your savings using the Hefe promo code Hefe, and make your savings right out of the gate. If you're using the pound or somewhere outside the U.S., you're actually getting double down rewards. Not only do you get that 15% day one on the purchase, you'll get 15% off the purchase as well as 15% savings. So in effect, a 30% savings right out of the gate. And you do the math. If your max, for me in the U.S. here, is 30% savings, you're going to be getting 60% off if you're over in Europe or Canada or somewhere other than the United States. So I may move just to get cheaper packs. So if anybody's got room on their couch or basement, I might come join you. So anyway, good luck on your SVS this weekend if you've got SVS, and hopefully you can tune in. We'll be doing Battlefield, I think, late on Saturday. So if you get a chance to tune in, it's always fun rallying and having fun with the hose. So check us out, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate the help growing the channel. So anyway, this is Hefe, and I'm going to be signing off.
Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on
Dancing under neon skies, running with the fireflies. That's where I wanna be. Climbing every mountain top, seeing things that we cannot believe. With you, you're next to me. That's where I wanna be.